All right, so I want to do a video about how I got into programming, and I figured I don't have my computer or anything nearby me, so I'll just do it in my car. And yeah, so here it is. Here's my story about how I got into coding. As a kid, I was really interested in computers. My first computer was a Mac, and as far as I know, it wasn't really like tinkerable or anything. Like, I didn't know anything about it under the hood. It just had like word processor and some games, and we used this crazy like floppy disk thing, and I think we had like a wheel mouse and all this stuff. And I really enjoyed it. I used it as a kid up until elementary school. I remember using it to write papers and stuff. And then we moved, and our neighbors had this old PC they had upgraded, and they gave us their old one. And that was my first introduction into PCs, and that kind of opened my whole world up. I think that was around the time we got the internet too, so we were able to get like AOL, and somehow, I don't know what happened, but I learned about open source, and I started reading whatever I could find. I started tinkering with things, messing with stuff. I learned about terminal commands and trying stuff and breaking my computer, things like that. And then that really took off when I was a little older, I think junior high, and I was able to get my own computer. I built from scratch, and I was able to break it on my own without worrying about other people using it. And I started learning how to install Linux and things like that. So I learned terminal commands, but I'd always been fascinated by the concept of computer programming. And so I had learned, I think I got a book or something on C++, and I had learned a little bit about that. And I always got stuck. I basically made little videos, not videos. I basically learned little programs where you would write like a little console program to, get legal age or drinking age, or can you drive a car, and it'd be an if else, and you'd get input from the terminal or from the command prompt or whatever. And it was just, I liked part of it, but then it never really turned into a real app, like an app that I used. So I always got stuck, and I always stopped, and it really drove me crazy because I really liked it and I wanted to know how to do it. And eventually in high school, I was like, oh man, I really want to learn game programming. So I got, my uncle bought me like this definitive guide on like game programming, but it was too complex. It was way over my head. And I had to learn too many things at the same time to even get there. And I didn't even really know the basics of programming other than like loops and variables. So I failed to learn programming there, and I failed to make games. And fast forward I'm living in San Francisco. I've always been interested in it, but never really learned how to do it. And I hear a buddy who tells me he quit his job, joined a boot camp, and in like 3 months plus, a few weeks or something, he was working at Amazon, and he's a software engineer, and he was programming. And I was just like, that's amazing. Like, how is that even possible? And so all of a sudden there was like something in my head clicked. Is like, I can do this. This is something I would want to do, and I can do it. And to make a really long story short, I quit my job, and I said I'm going to learn full time, and I did. I studied. I didn't do a boot camp, but I looked up every word he had explained to me, because the things had changed a lot by the time I was looking at a C++ book for game programming to, I don't know how many years later, 20 years later or something, with full stack web development with Node, JavaScript, React, front end development, back end development, all this stuff. So I looked up all those words because I didn't know what they meant, and I started learning about what it meant. I started learning what the full stack developer does, what it means to be front end, back end, APIs, databases, all that stuff, CSS, HTML, and I dove in real deep, and I basically mimicked my schedule after the hacker hack reactor schedule, which my buddy had done, and it was from when I woke up in the morning till late at night, and then pretty much all Saturday, and I took Sunday off to be with my wife and kids, and I learned a crazy amount. And I'll go into more detail about the things that I studied and things I wish I would have known earlier, and things I think would help me learn today if I was learning this year, like right now if I was studying. But I just wanted to share just a little bit about my journey and how I got started. And then I think it was about 7 months after I quit my job that I got my first offer at a startup, and it's been history. It's been a wild, ever since the rest is history. It's been a wild ride. It's been a crazy journey. I love it. It's something I've always been passionate about, and it fits me in problem solving and my personality. So I'll share more about it, but I just wanted to get one out here to get the topic started.